Monday, January 12th, 2026 at 4:30 p.m. I'd like to welcome our guests.
All right.
Are you here for?
Just as a citizen of Village West.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Zagami,
Here.
Jordan,
Here.
Hubbard is excused, Mumper,
Here.
Schuster.
Here. Public comment? Anybody on that Zoom?
Not other than staff.
No public comment. Item 5, approval of 12/8/25 public work and utility committee meeting.
Move to approve. Oh, go ahead. Second.
Discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I have it. Item 6, acknowledge December 2025 water and sewer permit.
Move to acknowledge. Second.
Discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I have it. The staff report, item 7, CIP update. Michael?
Yeah, I'm trying to get my screen off of just black, but right now, I guess we're kind of in the dead period. Last year's projects, we have a couple items in here for kind of final balancing change orders. One for Schofield Ave, one on East Jelnik. The treatment plant work for well 3, the iron manganese removal portion of that project. We had a pre-construction meeting with 8 Pine and AECOM right before Christmas? No, last week. It was last week. Weeks are all a blur. So they're looking to get started in March, kind of when the ground starts thawing out, to get started on that portion of the project, and they'll probably take about a year from start to finish to get that rolling.
Can we go back to Corner Trunk? Weston Avenue?
Sure.
You have the east side is completed. Then you have west construction phase 1. You have some minor restoration left. And then phase 2, you have substantial completion.
Yeah.
How much are these, and how much money we are holding back for that?
It's the general retainage of 5% of the project that would be left. So
Is that enough to take care of it?
yeah, I mean, asphalt's down, utilities are in. It's really just
All the manhole, nice level with that.
for the most part. We did have a meeting with American Asphalt on Friday last week, going over some of the I don't know, discrepancies or the just kind of the state of things, what's gone well and what areas would we like to have them work on moving forward. So, whether it's the manholes on Fuller Street, on Schofield Ave, and I think there might be 1 or 2 on Weston Avenue as well.
Is there any explanation why they're doing that? I think they should be able to correct it.
Yeah. I guess, for lack of better, I think the answer is that they maybe have some staff that they are looking at replacing and working on a better management of their crews.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
yeah. I'm kind of flying blind here, but
No, well, it was just in my mind. I had to.
yeah.
Did you do a hard shutdown?
Yep, I'm rebooting the whole thing.
Yeah.
It was stuck. But yeah, the Ross Avenue Metro Drive, I know we talked about right of way, so that transportation plat is in the process of getting recorded. So we can continue with right of way there. Similar Alderson Jelnik. We'll be going through the right of way, hopefully in the next week or 2, getting that moving forward. And then just Ike's continuing working on the Concord, Bladel, and rest of the Alderson Jelnik project. And then today we were notified that the Village of Rothschild is looking at repaving Bellwood Ave or Street, which is one of our older water main areas just off of Alderson Street, north of Weston Avenue. So we're gonna see if we can try to quickly sneak in a water main replacement on that roughly quarter-mile stretch of roadway as well this summer. So
That actually is helpful.
yeah.
Yeah.
And,
This right away for the roundabout, how much effect people at those corners which they're taking a property?
At Metro, it's the majority is the southeast. Really, I guess at both projects, the southeast corner, or both Alderson and Metro, it's that southeast corner that's impacted more.
Alderson should be easy because it's open.
Yeah, and the Metro Drive one, if you remember, we looked through that, and that one's almost a little more oblong shape to avoid.
That greenhouse, something like that.
Yeah,
So
there's a couple of houses that are pretty tight to the road there, so that was kind of moving it over closer to that southeast corner.
And it's working good. They're not angry or upset or.
The first meeting we had with those residents, there were some choice words were definitely exchanged initially, and then once we got through it all, and now the residents there are actually pretty happy. You know, as we go through the design process, you usually show the worst case scenario, and everybody reacts off of that, and you know, it's kind of the we aren't gonna, we don't want to build the worst case scenario, but you know, this is where we start, and then you know, you kind of go through that iteration, and then you know, they realize, you know, we are working with them, we are doing what we can to minimize those impacts as much as we can. So
Good.
yeah.
Anything else?
Um,
I'm interrupting you. You're just missing your.
yeah, no, I think that's probably the, you know, just continuing working on getting some of those other projects out. And
There was a comment on that, the Walkman Street.
oh yeah, on Volkman Street, we're gonna be replacing part of the water main as part of the Business 51 project. As that kept getting kind of pushed down the road by the state. We've been talking with Rothschild about just taking care of that short section from Business 51 to McIntyre. Because then they have some utility work they want to do through that backside as well. But the most, I think it was Friday, we got the updated CIP from Rothschild, and they're looking at doing that in 2027. So that doesn't change anything on our end, so. And
Did you get an update on the bike and pedestrian master plan?
there'll be a presentation shared with, is it the board next week?
Yep, so it'll go in the packet that'll be released on Wednesday, and then it'll be at Parks the week after.
Yeah, so
Anything else, Michael?
I don't think so. If I missed something, I'll come back to it later. I finally got back up and running.
Any question for Michael?
Nope.
Do the results of that bike and path or master plan impact any of this? Because there was one in here about what's our preferred design for future roadways, including pedestrian paths.
On the,
You're talking about Concord? And that
The
typical section?
typical, yeah, the Concord, yeah.
I mean, that's just specific to that project. It's-
yeah,
That was just my thought as I read through. I saw your notes and I saw that we're going to talk about it, and I thought, well, what we're getting a. Does that impact that decision, and we don't know what the report is, or you know what I mean?
yeah, I don't believe that Concord Ave itself was noted as necessarily an area of concern village-wide, but
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to bring it up as it went through.
At the corner of the folder and that circle court.
Hidden
Off
River.
of
Oh,
Folder.
Hidden River Circle?
Yeah, There is a light post with the light in there.
Yeah,
Is that,
WPS still has to come back and reinstall it.
those are all light, I think.
No, it's a WPS owned
Is
light.
it?
Yep.
Hmm.
It's a decorative one, but it is a
Right.
WPS owned light.
So it won't happen until the spring probably, huh?
Well, I was looking back at my correspondence this morning actually, and they had said mid-December, so I can follow back up with them to see what,
December. Oh.
yeah, since we're into January now.
But mid-December was right when it was below zero and they said, no, thank you.
Yeah. So I know it is in their work queue and on their, radar that needs to get reinstalled.
Item 8, street operation update.
Yes. DPW staff has been pretty busy with snow events, total of 14 of them added up throughout the month. A lot of them smaller, some bigger. Staff was able to keep the roads in a timely manner clear, but then came the cold weather and packed the snow down. So that meant a lot of trips out multiple times, sand salt mix to help with the traction on the roadways. Because the salt doesn't work very well below 15 degrees Fahrenheit. So put down the sand and salt to help burn that in. Yep.
Are you finding a shortage? I mean, you probably got enough for the year, but is there a shortage?
I've not heard of any. I've heard contractors are not being able to get it right now.
Right.
But we still can as a municipality.
Okay,
It is 2 weeks out though when you order. So from the date ordered.
so there is some sort of.
There's something going on with the shipping, yes.
Okay, thanks.
Crews also worked at the Kelly Land drainage basin area, installing the overflow. They cut the trees, removed stumps and brush from the area, did the excavation of the dirt and put the fabric and riprap rock down in that section for the pond. Staff finished the topsoil and seeding of the area in springtime. Also, they got brushing along retention ponds throughout the village, mows down the brush and keeping the weed from, makes it look nice and makes it easier to inspect them to see if the sediment removal is needed. And this task is done on an annual basis, otherwise it gets out of hand and quicker. Staff also had a lot of hand brushing, walking along the ditches to do, where there's fences and other obstacles that we can't take a piece of machinery in, cut by hand, drag it up, put it on the road, load it up into trucks. And then we try to do this as work throughout the winter so that come summertime, it's done.
Is there a machine out there to cut those brushes?
The that last one I just stated on was all done by hand. The guys go in the ditch and trim it by hand with the chainsaw and then throw it up onto the road where we take a loader, scoop it up, and then load it into the truck. And
Anything else? Go ahead, I'm sorry,
Oh.
go ahead.
oh, I'm just gonna keep going. Okay. All right, and then for the shop, got a lot going on there too. Got the 113 LaRue snow blower. That's the loader mounted one. They have to replace the drive chain and add a tensioner. The street sweeper is in for a major service of worn parts. And for inspection, they'll be replacing them. The rest will be sandblasted and painted and replace wearable parts such as the center boom and skirting. The Parks turf cat hydraulic pump was replaced. To fabricate the trailer for a hydro seeder, they repurposed the trailer from that used to be an old cement trailer we used. Now they're mounting our hydro seeder to it. I did include some details there about the weight ratings and all that. That the trailer is significantly functional for that, what the weight will be on that trailer. Unit 25 service checked over, they did brake chambers and rear spring balusters. Unit 38 was checked over. Unit 202 was replaced, the bypass valves. Radio was also cutting out, they had a wire shortage there. 231 was a service. Unit 10 was, had some headlight issues with plowing, replaced the relays. Number 7 was replaced tires. Number 6 was also replaced plow wiring harness. For seasonal work, continue to inspect snow equipment such as worn pins, loose parts. Inspect, replace hydraulic hoses, replace cutting edges as needed, fabricate curb guard. And shop staff has also been helping out with snow removal for plowing. And the youth apprentice, he did assisting with the hydro seeder trailer. He serviced 231, repaired unit 7. It's helping out with repairs to the street sweeper. And completed all the repairs on 202, replaced the pump on that turf cat mower sweeper. And shop and equipment cleaning. That's it.
Question from board?
Yes, and I should probably know this, but I don't. Can citizens come anywhere and get salt like for their sidewalks? It seems to me in the old days, they could go to the salt shed when we were at the.
Yeah, well, we got a sand barrel that's available in the turnaround or the
Okay,
U-shape there where they can come get the sand salt mixture.
they can come here and get.
Correct.
Available.
Correct, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
And that's a sand. We actually never allowed anybody to grab salt from us, but we did allow them the sand.
Okay.
Doesn't say they didn't grab some.
Yeah, they may, if they went into this salt shed and grabbed salt, I guess they weren't supposed to, but we have always allowed sand to get utilized just because it, 1/20th the cost or whatever of salt, so.
Okay, anything else?
Oh, that's it.
Thank you. Item 9, utility operation update.
Yeah, with some of the weather, our guys have been able to kind of get into our well houses and lift station buildings and kind of give a little TLC. Noticed some heater failures, some heater improvements that needed to be updated. So they did replace a thermostat at Cary Well. At the same time, they noticed there was a leaky check valve they had to repair. Chlorine leak at well 7-8, also had to repair a check valve at on pump 2 at our treatment plant. We started our larger meter change out for 1.5 2-inch meters. Continued our private well sampling program. Michael touched on the well, I guess our treatment plant project, well 4 portions completed. Well 3 should be, I don't know if they'll have much work over the winter months here, but we also did have a kind of an oddity with some pressure issues that some businesses found over on Progress Way and up Zinzer. After some investigation, there's a photo included on here we had some sort of, somebody either opened up a hydrant and slammed it shut because we had a number of businesses along there that kind of showed that their fire suppression systems had kind of had a big pressure spike. And they were asking if we had noticed anything within our system with pressures, exceeding into the, hundreds. So we had said it's physically impossible based on, any type of tower elevations or anything our pumps can produce. And then when our operators were out, they noticed a hydrant on Zinzer. There was a clear area around this hydrant here. So we don't know if somebody was messing around or a contractor used something, opened it up, got some water and closed it fast. And it was just kind of a back pressure. But it's just something that,
What size wrench do you need to open it?
Big one?
yeah.
That's what I'm asking. What size wrench do you need to open that?
Well, yeah, I won't, I don't wanna,
Something?
not much of a conspiracy.
Contractors usually have it.
Oh, yeah.
My point was
Access
just,
to it.
being a contractor, like I have wrenches, I'm sure I could open anything you got, right? We go up to three inches.
Yeah,
Joe retail?
So-
No way.
yeah. So,
I just don't think this is a bunch of high school kids.
I have-
Playing how fun.
Yeah. I'm not much of a conspiracy theorist, but I have my own thoughts of Yes, I'm assuming, but the timing of it was odd that, I mean, this would have happened either overnight or very early in the morning. Cause I got in with a nice, easy day on my plate. And all of a sudden we got one call and then a whole bunch called. So then it was like, well, what the heck's going on here? So we tried to track down if there was more across the highway and, so it's just thought we noted in there. We've kind of been in contact with some of the businesses, but I think everything's okay with it, but it's just another thing where you didn't expect something like this to happen, but, I don't know what we could do to prevent it, but, it's just one of those things that we get to deal with that pop up throughout a day here at the Village of Weston. On our water side, so our overhead fill, I'm waiting to hear back from Flow Point. We have a computer ready. I think we need to get some communications between the treatment plant and our building here, so we can start setting up some accounting to let residents use the overhead fill. Sanitary side of things, we had to pull a couple pumps, replace a flange on a pump at our lift station, Eau Claire lift station. The photo included in here is from our Park Terrace lift station. You can see the plug. With the heaters, we did some work over on the well houses. We also troubleshooted some of the heaters at our lift stations as well. Prepped our old vac truck, give it a couple things that needed to be repaired. So when we get that out for auction, I don't know where we are with that.
Right, later this month.
This month, we might put it out there. We did assist Rothschild with a couple sewer needs they needed as their truck was in the shop. We went over and helped them clean a plug in one of their manholes. We did some televising in preparation. We jetted and televised some areas over by Alderson Jelnik and Bladel for some upcoming project design work. Dealt with cleaning our pH probes, cleaned our bad spots. Some of our general maintenance and pump filter replacements. Digger's hotline should be minimizing quite a bit here over the next handful of months. Work orders have been slowing down as well, other than some of our meter changeout stuff. And contract work slowed down as well. Other than that, we have some of our customers added. What our water pumped for the last handful of months were, our wastewater flows and our lift station hours. That's it.
Question for Josh? Policy discussion and recommendation, item 10.
I do have one other question.
Go ahead.
So before I came, I was just reading in, they had this survey that they put out, they asked us to review, and in there it says, since 2010, about 50 new housing units were built each year. And then when I look on new customers, I see 46 in a month.
So that's just, so I think we've kind of been debating on if it's worth putting on. I mean, it could be just changing of customers, right? I mean,
House sold.
yeah,
and
a
new
house
person.
sold and somebody else came on, so it's not new homes put in. We should put that, cause we get that every month too, don't we? Yeah, so
Yeah, I was like.
maybe I should put an asterisk.
46 in 1 month, 50 for a year. I'm like.
Yeah, so like,
That's what we're saying.
Yeah.
yeah, if we go back to like item 6, like the water and sewer permits, like those
Yeah.
lateral meter permits generally are the new houses, the new buildings that are getting built.
To me, this would be better if we just netted it.
Yeah.
How many new additions? Cause I'll be honest, I always thought that, I was like, oh, I'm broke. You stop and think about it and go, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this just says a new customer includes new connections and change of residency. So when I wonder if we could have that in the report we actually run on Facel to actually have what's new home and what's just a change of customer.
Yeah, cause when I think new, I think
New house, yeah.
incremental addition, right? Not, somebody moved out, somebody moved in and
Yeah.
name changed.
All right. Item 10, 2026 street reconstruction. Typical section discussion, Concord Avenue.
So at the last meeting, it was requested to bring 2 additional typical sections for essentially to address the needs of the commercial properties there of WOW Logistics and how they've historically used the corridor by providing extra width of the pavement. So the 2 typicals on each sheet, one is outside of the WOW Logistics area, and then the bottom one is within WOW. One typical section, so if we go back a sheet here, one more. Right there, so this is alternate E. Essentially, that top one you see there is what the typical roadway is for the road. Once we get to WOW, which you scroll down to the next, shows it widening out to provide an additional 10-foot of parking, essentially for their vehicles that need to check in to figure out what bay they need to go to. So, and that's essentially what they're using. Essentially, we're paving the gravel shoulder that's maintained several times a year for the trucks that are parking there. So that's essentially mimicking what's currently out there. And then the next one, the next sheet for typical section, which is Alt F. It's the exact same typical outside of WOW, but then shows just giving us 5 feet of asphalt on both sides. So that trucks could pull off to the side. There's extra asphalt there. Traffic that would have to pass through would essentially center the line and pass through and pause in there, to go in between. But it provides parking space on both sides of the road for any trucks that might be coming both ways. There's not as many that are coming eastbound. Most of them, from what I've been able to see, are westbound. So that's kind of what that first alternative is providing there, is that mainly for the westbound trucks parking there next to the check-in. So.
Yeah, I can try to zoom in here with a aerial as well.
Isn't that increase the cost significantly? Or
I mean,
is
we
this a
are-
short distance.
We're essentially be adding a lane for the distance there.
For
This-
both of them. Your
Yeah,
alternate
and-
E and F, both of them.
Correct, yeah,
Why they're about 10 feet or 15 feet?
correct.
Yeah, so one is putting 10 feet on one side of the road. The other alternative is putting 5 feet on either side. So essentially it should be the same cost, just
Same
putting, spreading it, yeah, to either side.
Yeah, so one, I guess the first one shows this, so that right now, if you go through there, this gravel shoulder on the north side is where they're parking. So, this isn't necessarily perfect, but, so this is a parking lane. And then the 2 travel lanes would be on the south side here. So we'd give them space on the north side to park as they go to check into this facility.
No one besides WOW needs that. Is that correct?
Nobody else really
I mean, nobody
utilizes
else
that
would do- I mean, if
area.
we did it anywhere else, it probably would not get utilized. Is that fair statement?
Yeah, I think so.
So what is that distance?
I was just gonna grab that.
And then those other bump outs, that's just driveway access, right?
Those are the
Correct.
driveways.
That's just to
Yep.
connect to their drive or their parking areas. Yeah, so the driveway itself, I want to say it's in the ballpark of like 500 feet. Was
500 feet?
approximately the length I provided there,
Yeah, and
I thought.
a quick measurement, yeah, probably about 650.
Okay, so a little bit longer.
Isaac, is your recommendation,
Each truck?
or do you not have a recommendation?
Each truck is 53
On
feet?
which one to
Yeah,
go with?
and sometimes they are,
Actually, 63 feet because the box is 53 feet.
yeah,
And then the front is 10 feet, that's 63 feet.
yeah, so it's probably about 10 trucks that, I mean, you got some driveway accesses that you probably won't block, but
Do they get that much truck?
yeah, I mean, if you go through there on some of their probably busier days, I mean, they are lined up past the, even the Lamer's entrance here. So there are times where they do back up, but again, usually the first truck will park right here. So if we give them space to park up here, that might help alleviate it too, where they can pull up instead of parking right at the spot and then everybody queues behind them. So I mean, we could work with them there to make sure that
I'm sorry, Michael, how
Yeah.
many trucks did you say on a busy day?
I guess I haven't counted. I just know that you will see them lined up still on the gravel past this entrance for lamers. So
5, 6, 10, 300?
it's not 300, but probably 5 to 6, depending on how
Okay.
busy they are with and how quickly they can, get assigned to where they need to go and what docks are open.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know if we need to design it for the maximum, day, because the road is still there. They still need to pull off on the side, but, at least try to accommodate that typical day. So we're making some improvements. So like Isaac was saying, so this option allows a 10-foot lane on the north side. That allows option E and then option F. If I figure out where I'm at here on the plans.
The 5 feet each side is still, if they park on that 5 feet, still part of a truck gonna be on the road.
No, 10
Correct.
feet, it's 10 foot, you got.
Yeah, so he had two options. One was
10 foot or a 2 to 5 foot, but
2 5 feet, so it still is 10
5
feet.
feet,
So with a 14-foot lane, that 5 feet plus, say the 4 feet so essentially it's two 19-foot lanes. If a truck parks in that 9 feet, it still allows a 10-foot travel lane. It's maybe not ideal. You might have to cross the center line slightly, but there is adequate width for vehicles to pass. But if semis are on both sides, that center should still be open for vehicles to pass through there as well.
does staff have a recommendation between E and F?
I personally would probably say E and just have it on the north side. Because I think most of the traffic does turn off of X here and head west. They check in there and then most of the docks are all west of there. I don't know of many trucks that come in from the west side and park on the south side of the road.
That's what I remember from our discussion. I thought E was probably the best. I don't know if you guys have a reference one way or the other.
When I've driven through there, the most I've seen is probably one truck, maybe two max on that south side. Majority are on the north side when I've driven through.
I mean, at the end of the day, there's still the same width of pavement. So even if there's a truck that decides to pull onto the south side, there still should be room for a vehicle to squeeze through if there is vehicles on both sides. I mean,
Yeah, but some of those vehicles could be truck. Definitely is a truck, so.
correct, yeah. So if we have 39, we're at 38 feet of pavement. I mean, 3 trucks can be on 38 feet of pavement. So,
I would favor 10 feet, that way you take them off of the road.
yeah.
Yes, that's option E.
Yeah, so that's option E, correct.
Okay, I have a question. If I read this right, you're still talking about a walking path, I'll call it, as opposed to sidewalk from Camp Phillips to this area?
It would just be a 5-foot sidewalk on the north side of the road then.
Okay, my first question is, are there a lot of people walking this road? Because I go by there, I don't specifically look, but I've never seen anybody walking there. And then my second question, coupled with that, is who's gonna be responsible for winter maintenance?
They would be if as a sidewalk, it's their responsibility for shoveling and
They
maintaining.
being the business owner.
Correct, yeah.
So the school
The school
and WOW or
and then
whoever.
crystal finishing once you get into there.
Okay, I just, first off, really wonder the necessity of the sidewalk. Because I never see anybody walking there. I see them walking on Camp Phillips a lot.
Yeah.
I know
mean,
we've had our employees have walked down there, but I'll be honest, I don't know if I'd want to walk down that road either.
Yeah.
Like-
6 semis.
Right.
But that's maybe
But
one
there's
vehicle.
if there's something off the road, that wouldn't be a problem then.
I mean,
I know
There
we
isn't
talked,
that much residential really in that area. There's,
Correct, it's
Some,
more
but not right
connecting, more to connect the residents to.
and I'll just give an example, because I'm in the Fuller area, and that street, most people did not want to walk or run or go do anything on that street because there was no sidewalk and it really wasn't very safe in my opinion. It's, you know, as the traffic count went up and up and up, and I think maybe that's one of the reasons you don't see any of it, you know. I think once you open up a sidewalk, maybe you will see the traffic, but
Where are they gonna come from?
well, there's a subdivision that's right back, right behind that. Isn't that all subdivision? That's all residential,
It's
right?
all residential south and north and to the east. I mean, you know, it might be people that wanna walk to work or, I mean, it isn't uncommon in other areas that people, if they live close by, they can walk to work, they can bike to work, I mean, it may not, a lot of it is rental housing in that area too, so it's not necessarily people that have even maybe the luxury of a car to get to the warehouse or the factory to get to work, so. I know the sidewalks are the worst topic to have discussions about because everybody has an opinion and nobody can seem to ever agree on it, but we try to figure out what is, we've been all over the board of we don't put sidewalks in, we put sidewalks on everything. So here we're trying to come up with these hybrid approaches of what makes sense in an area. And I know last meeting, I think we discussed how, with the employees there, the Link Health Fitness thing, Alderson Street's a great example. North of Ross Avenue, we had to put sidewalk in on that project as part of a DOT grant in 2012. And there was a meeting held because the Schofield council member was adamant that sidewalk was unnecessary. So met out there with some of their council members, I think our administrator at the time, and myself and Keith, and we were being berated about why, see, nobody walks, there's no need for a sidewalk here. There's about 4 or 5 people walking in the road because there was no sidewalk and almost got sideswiped by a semi. And the guy stopped talking immediately and was like, okay, I guess we'll put the sidewalk. So, we can always say nobody uses it, but there's a couple of people that do use it. Or to Roy's point, they're not using it right now because it's semis all day, every day. And who wants to walk next to that? And so, if we give them an avenue to use it, now all of a sudden, hey, that makes a lot of sense.
All the semis are still gonna be there.
Right, could you, Jamie, what you had?
I was just gonna say, we talked at the last meeting about the school being there and there's that connection point to that we could maybe even build a slight path to make the access to the school a little bit more efficient. And then the other piece is Birch Street hooks up to this and you could hook Birch Street up to our pedestrian bridge if the sidewalk at least went up to Birch Street on Concord.
Fred?
Yeah, so in my experience at Weston Supply, driving in every day for 15 or 20 years, there really wasn't much traffic, walking traffic, pedestrian traffic on that road ever. And the residential area to the south, for me, so what would the cost be to put that sidewalk in? I mean, that's gonna be pretty significant because it's really quite long. And what are you gonna do when you cross the driveways of warehousing in Wisconsin? I mean, would you actually construct a sidewalk there? I mean, if you do, then it's gonna have to be at least, 6 inches thick?
Yeah.
Because of the trucks backing across it?
Yeah, so you'd put a thickened section of sidewalk through there. So if we have it on one side, I guess we'd try to pick the side that has maybe fewer driveway entrances so that it's not as much of the thickened concrete, but yeah.
Well, the thing is, some of our road, there was no traffic on it. And I used Camp Phillips here. I used to bike on this. I dare to ride the bike now,
On Camp Phillips?
right?
Yeah, you're
Because
talking
there
about,
was no traffic.
yeah.
You could go from one end to another end, maybe you see one car or 2 car past you. But today, wow, that's not, even that sidewalk there, I mean, nobody was walking there before. They put the sidewalk, people start walking on. So it just,
Yeah, walking path
you
on Camp
build it,
Phillips
they come.
is used a lot.
Sure.
I would agree with that.
Anybody else?
I would say though that the number of employees that are at Crystal now compared to the employees that were at Wassa Supply is significantly different. I would bet that there's probably 10 times as many employees at Crystal as there was at Wassa Supply when we occupied that area. So, and where is that wellness center that they have?
It's almost at Bayberry.
It's on the,
It's on the,
Right on the curve. Bayberry and Concord.
And then it's also like a weight room or something there too.
yeah, it's a gym, so I think it's kind of tucked in on this camera.
Yep, you're right there.
It's in this area at the corner, far west end of Concord there.
Others? Anybody else?
Okay, no expectation that Warehousing Wisconsin should participate in the cost of adding that additional 10 feet of asphalt. And that's typically in the right of way, so it's,
Yeah, I mean, we could treat it as an additional driveway assessment, or, you know, I guess that'd be the
You could say, I don't need it, don't put it.
well, I mean,
Just put it, then that's it, so then you park, the is parking today.
yeah, and I guess that was kind of why we were asking that question, because if we don't put it in, they keep parking like they are today. I mean, do we end up having to go back and say, hey, you guys need to keep fixing this? You know, because we've been maintaining that shoulder, and that shoulder keeps getting wider as we add more gravel, and then they keep beating it up, and we keep adding more gravel, and now, yeah, we've got the 12, 14 foot wide gravel shoulder, really because they kept driving off the road and maintaining it. So, I mean, I have no problem saying, hey, we'll do this, but you're picking up that cost as part of an assessment.
question, Forrest, how often did you say that you're there?
It could be, it depends on how much rainfall we get as well. It could be like 4 times a month. Grading it out, add material.
Okay.
I mean, this is one of those situations where if this was a brand new warehouse that was coming in, we would say you can't use the road for your truck parking. But it's
Don't think you can do that, that's a business there for a long time.
correct. That's what I'm saying is if this was a brand new thing coming in, we'd look at their operations plan and say, yeah, you need to accommodate this on site. So I guess this is a way to try to work with them to come up with a compromise, you know. So if we want to let them use the public right of way, that's fine. But, you know, if you guys want us to, we can add that into an assessment as we move forward with the project. So. And then if they were to nix it, I don't know, I guess we need to put something in writing so that if we have to continue maintaining something off-road, because they keep messing it up, or we at that point say, you guys gotta redo your parking lot so you can accommodate these trucks. I guess at this point, we're trying to get.
Park on what that cost would be. Well, we talking,
I didn't pull any costs together on that.
I said 700 feet of 10 feet of asphalt.
You got what, 5 inch in there at least?
Yeah. I should have written this down as I was clicking away, but maybe about 50,000, 46,000.
About 40, but I just grab a number, but
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
well, again, if it was
50 is
my business and I was allowed to use the right of way to manage my business without having to add on to my parking lot or come up with, I think it's a pretty cheap deal, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know those guys personally at all, but I really think that. Have you had any conversation with them about doing this?
We have talked to them. I think Ike even.
They haven't mentioned anything specifically about the road. I did try to get an answer out of them about that, but I
Yeah,
didn't really get an answer.
but yeah, and we can follow up if that's kind of a directive is we're happy to do it, but we need to assess it. Yeah, we can work with
Yeah,
them on it.
so it's kind of like when the pavers are working in your neighborhood and they say, well, hey, do you want your driveway blacktop while we're here?
Yeah.
We'll do it for this discounted price. I think you'd be giving them a really good deal
Yeah,
to do something that they should really be responsible for the maintenance that you guys have been doing in the shoulder for years.
correct. Yeah,
And so I, like I say, I think that they should participate in the cost of that. And again, that if you could get them to do that, would kind of offset a little bit of the cost of building that. It's gonna be a pretty damn expensive sidewalk.
And I'd almost suggest we maybe table it for a month and bring it back after you talk to them, because to me, if you're gonna start writing checks, you should have some input into what you're spending money on, right?
yeah,
I just feel like if Weston said we're paying for all this, then I'm not I mean, yes, you'd wanna know, but if they're gonna participate, I definitely think they should get a chance to look at what it is.
sure. So if we could, I still wouldn't mind having an agreement on a typical section. It's always easy to remove something out of a design. So we can continue on with that, and then if they say, yeah, we don't want it, and we'll figure something else out, it's easy enough to take that 10 feet out of the roadway design and move forward, but I think for Ike's sanity, giving him something to keep working on instead of scrambling at the end of next month would be good.
I would suggest we go with 10 feet one side.
I agree.
Yeah, the 10 feet on one side would make the most
And
sense.
then, yeah, we can touch base with them on that.
Yeah, the trucks that are coming there are, for the most part, coming off of Camp Phillips,
Yeah.
and not saying that you don't get some guy that gets lost, so to speak, but it would make the most sense on that side. And my recollection is their driveways are all asphalt other than a strip of concrete that they poured to, that they're, when they crank down the dolly legs on their trailers, they land on it seems to me that they actually put that in some number of years ago because the dolly legs were hard on the asphalt. So as you move that sidewalk towards their building, I'm wondering if a trailer and a tractor, if the sidewalk won't be
in the way.
so to speak, or
Yeah, so like if you look, you kind of see in this aerial, I mean, this is a trailer here, so.
well, it looks like the sidewalk would be clear of the actual tractors.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that wouldn't be such a big deal.
Is that enough? Isaac?
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Motion to table. Till next month.
Yes,
Well, you wanted a recommendation. I think we all agreed on E, correct?
I need a motion.
Yeah, okay. I'll move to recommend that staff proceed with typical section alternative E, including the 10-foot asphalt shoulder for the 26 CIP plan for Concord Avenue.
Is there a second?
Yeah.
Discussion?
Yes. Are you going along with E as a motion or to put it off till next month till they talk to the?
Well, the question is if we want to assess it or not, right? Or,
Oh, okay, to
I
just
believe.
assess it, all right.
So
Yeah.
building it is definite. The assessment has become different issue than we can
which
discuss.
I guess the question is either we probably should have a stance of we would be assessing it.
Okay, I can amend that motion then if you'd like. I'll amend it to say, I'll move to recommend staff proceed with typical section alternative E, including the 10-foot shoulder with that cost assessed to WOW. for the 2026 capital improvement project plan for Concord Avenue.
Okay, first we're gonna vote on the amendment, and then we vote on the motion.
Just, you need Fred to agree to that amendment, just, because you were the second on that, yes?
I'll agree to the amendment.
So you just second, right?
Yeah.
Second the amendment,
Right, that is.
okay. So all in favor of amendment, signify by saying aye.
I,
Oppose, I have it. Now we vote on the motion. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying
I have
aye.
a question. You're including the 5-foot sidewalk?
yeah, it's in the drawing.
Okay, all right.
As it is. Okay, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
All right,
I,
Oppose,
Aye.
so I have it. All right, Stacy? Got it? All right. Thank you. Item 11. 2026 Weston landfill gas extraction and groundwater monitoring service contract.
So my tech or before them, Central Wisconsin Engineers has been monitoring the closed landfill, which is now the dog park. The proposal in the packet is for the continuation of their services here through 2026. This ensures we comply with all DNR requirements for the gas extraction system and groundwater monitoring required for the closed landfill. We have $30,000 in our budget for this year for the maintenance and engineering costs of the system. So there are $23,350 is within that budget.
Move to approve that
I just
contract.
have one question.
Yep.
They've been doing this for 15 years. Has there ever been any consideration to see if we could negotiate a longer contract with a reduced price?
Oh, yeah, we probably could. I mean, usually it is really a time and materials cost.
Oh, it is, okay, I wasn't familiar with exactly what this is. I
Yeah.
just looked at it, they've had the job for 15 years, like.
At least 15, it would have been
At least
longer.
15, yeah. I just
They
said to myself.
build it too, they build it, they construct it,
Yeah.
so they know the system very well.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask that, just maybe you just keep that in your back pocket for a future, when you discuss it with them next year, I assume you'll be back on this thing again, right?
Yeah.
So,
So is there a?
I made a motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I,
Opposed, I have it. Item 12. The Schofield Avenue, Normandy Street to Birch Street, change order number 1.
Yeah, so this is really just a balancing change order at the end of the project here for contract quantities. So overall, there is one modification. We were notified on Friday that the tack coat number was not correctly reported, so it's there was an extra $10,000 on that item. So instead of being under the bid price by $265,000, it'll be about $255,000 under the original bid price for the Schofield Ave project. So, but other than that, this just kind of finalizes all the bid quantities and is kind of the final pay app agreement then between us and the contractor. And upon making final payment, we can submit our grant reimbursement from the state for a little over 2.6 million. So I don't know if you have any questions on it. Some items were over bid quantity, or at the end of the day, some came under. I try to tell people the original bid is an estimate based on the plans and specs, and you hope you accounted for everything. And when you say it's going to be 1,300 feet of concrete curb and gutter, and ends up being 12,980, you're off by 700 feet, but it's pretty close, so.
Okay,
I move to approve, change order one. On the Schofield Avenue, Normandy to Birch, construction in the amount of $5,983,410.75.
is there a second?
Is that the right numbers?
Yeah, so there will be a slight change. I don't have it verbatim, so I guess for the board meeting, I would have the updated number for the tack coat, so it'll probably be about 5,993, but
All right,
or you could say contingent on the tack coat number being corrected or something like that.
well then,
You're good? You have to make some correction based on Michael comment on that motion.
Yeah, just contingent on the tack coat number being finalized.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any more discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
aye,
Opposed? I have it. Item 13. East Chalmette Avenue change order number 4.
Yeah, so this is the same thing for the East Jelnik project, just getting the final quantities together and closing out the project. This one ended up coming in slightly above bid price at $17.46 over the original bid. The largest item on this one was rock excavation, primarily for the sanitary sewer up towards east or on East Jelnik towards Tower Bridge Place, going up the hill there.
What was the rock? I'm sorry. Was that at the intersection?
Yeah, it was kind of going just east of Kirk Street there. So there's more rock encounter than what was kind of planned for the utility installs there.
I thought we talked about that, remember? She was sitting right over there.
Yeah, and again, it's one of those things where you have borings. I mean, we had a number in there of 40 yards. It was, 400 yards, but
Okay. Anything else, Michael?
no, that's, everything else is, like I said.
Accept the motion on that.
So I move to recommend the village board approve change order number 4 for the East Jelinek and Von Cannell to Schofield Avenue construction contract to finalize the construction contract price at $2,353,207.49.
second,
Discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
aye,
Opposed? I have it. Thank you. Item 14, construction service agreement for Granite Ridge subdivision.
Yep. So as part of the Granite Ridge subdivision, which is being built at the end of Old Costa Lane, Timber Ridge Builders has been working with MTS as their design engineer. MTS was not interested in being the construction inspector on that project. Proposal went out to several other firms, and the subdivider has chosen to go forward with Vreeland Associates. In these cases, the contract with Vreeland is between the village and Vreeland, but then as part of the development agreement, any costs incurred that the village has, we then bill the developer for. So the developer ends up paying for the inspection services. So Vreeland has done the construction oversight for the Hinter Springs subdivision and currently is the one under contract for the Green Tree Acre subdivision as well. So I've had, I guess, no issues, no concerns there. So I'm okay
Don't you have
with.
the staff, experienced staff to do that?
Yeah, I mean, they're a smaller firm, but like I said, it's the same people that were, overseeing the Hinter Springs that would be working on this one as well. So
Have you seen his resume?
I have, yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's not, so Dustin Vreeland is a registered professional engineer, and then they have one or two other staff members as well that are on site.
Right, the staff gonna do it, the registered engineer is not gonna do that.
He does sometimes, yeah.
Supervise him,
Yeah.
but still we need the staff resume to make sure he has
Yeah.
enough experience and we don't have problem.
Yeah, so this firm doesn't utilize, summer interns or, some of that stuff like other people might have too, so.
I think we should make a habit when we award the contract for inspection, ask him to tell us who's gonna do the job and give us a resume.
Yeah.
If we don't like it, we don't accept it, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your wishes?
I'll recommend the village board approve the construction rep contract with Vreeland for the Granite Bridge Phase 1 for an estimate contract range between 53 and 55,000.
Is there a second?
Second.
And the developer paid that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of a, we pay and then bill the developer to pay us back.
Right.
Right, that's,
Okay.
yeah,
Did
that's
you have
my
a second?
understanding.
Did you second?
Roy did.
Did you
I
second?
second, yes.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I have it. Thank you. Okay, now the important one. Speed limit ordinance. Update chapter 82.600.
Are we gonna have a staff presentation of this? Because if you don't mind, this is what I wanted to ask you, Shank. I called Michael, when I read this over the weekend, I was confused about this whole thing. And then I saw the email come in from Lewis and I got more confused and concerned. And so I called Michael this morning and I said, and this was my question to him, I said, if I'm a private citizen and I come into the village of Weston and say, I have a concern about the speed limit on a road, I said, where are you sending me? And he said, to the Public Safety Committee. And I said, not to the Public Works Committee, correct? And he said, correct. And I said, because to me, the Public Works Committee, we should be building roads and maintaining roads. But it seems like this purview of the speed limit is not really not our business, so to speak. And so I said to him, I don't know if I even want to get into this because I said, I feel like I'm intruding on another committee.
There is only one thing here. We're building it, but we're building it according to the design of engineer, and he's designing it for certain speed limits. He's not just building it. He designed it for, say, 25 miles an hour,
Yep.
35 miles an hour, or the speed limit on Camp Phillips Road is 35 miles, part of it, 45 miles is the other part of it. There's reason for that. So as long as we follow those and it's not part of our project, we're okay. Because as I said, it's important to see what we're designing and what we build. Now, how much is on our lap, I'm not sure.
Yeah, okay, I understand that issue, but the rest of it,
I gotta agree with you. It doesn't seem like it's part of the responsibility of the road crew. We're not really in charge of safety and speed limits.
Yeah, and I understand the design issue and maybe before that should be a discussion that the Public Safety Committee has on if we're going to design something at a different speed limit,
And that's where I guess I can briefly mention in there, I know that was something we discussed back in 2021, 2022, as we went through design as far as, what are we designing this roadway for moving forward? And, it had that split at Ryan Street, 35 west of there and 45 east of there. And then even, I think in late 23, after the east phase was done, we had set that at 35 to just try to be consistent, and we got some complaints at that point, so we we did put that back at 45, but that section was designed up to 50 miles an hour for a posted speed limit. So, you know, that one, and I think even at that time, it was like, okay, well, we're okay with doing this, but this west phase, we're back to that other, you know, lower speed limit, and that's what we were designing with the kind of the residential neighborhood piece that's in there and some of the other aspects of the design. And so, but besides the Weston Ave topic, as we looked back over chapter 82.6, the whole, you know, there is other streets in there that weren't listed that exist in the village of Weston, and maybe that's not a huge deal because there is kind of a catch-all in the ordinance that says if it's generally a residential street, it's 25 miles per hour. There's some roads that have been in existence for over 20 years that weren't listed in the ordinance that we should have in there. But then we do have other kind of high-speed roads like Shorey and Ringle Ave, Weston Avenue, east of County Road J. You know, some of those streets are listed as 45, 55 mile an hour roadways, which I guess I was a little surprised to see, you know, a street like Kamichik listed as 55. Not sure who would go 55 down it, but I guess right now you technically could. But again, maybe to Roy, your point, those are all public safety committee items and not.
I mean, I would say this as a public works committee member, I would say I would be happy to make a motion that the public safety committee not approve speed limits in excess of the design parameters for the roadways.
Yeah.
That completely makes sense to me. I mean, it surprises me we need to do that, but okay. I don't know what area of life you go, well, the capacity's X, let's do X plus more, right? I mean, whether it's, things are designed for a reason to a certain standard, and to exceed that knowingly seems foolish, right? I mean, at least that's my perspective. But I don't know that it's like I said, I'm gonna stand by. I don't really want to set speed limits on roads or make recommendations because I don't think that's what I'm tasked to do it. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, well, so I talked to one of the residents that actually lives on the road and it's been 45 forever. And he would just as soon leave it alone because there aren't very many driveways on that section. Now, looking at the amount of vacant land and the farm that could be developed, that could certainly change, no question about it, you know, where it would be a lot more driveways or service entrances onto Weston Avenue.
Yeah, and I know, you know, I mean, during all the public information meetings and the special assessments, and unfortunately I missed the meeting last week, Monday. I was still on vacation, but you know, throughout the public information meetings, those residents were advocates of having a lower speed limit. They were advocates of trying to get people to not drive as fast through there. Maybe it wasn't 100% of those residents. I've had, you know, during construction, after construction here, at least 4 of them say, hey, thanks for reducing the speed out here. So kind of like the sidewalk issue, right? Like you're gonna have people in a neighborhood that say, you shouldn't have changed it. And you're gonna have other people that say, this is great. I now feel safer walking to go get my mail, or when I'm snow blowing at the end of my driveway, you know, so I guess, you know, it ends up, you almost have to try to block that because you're going to have people that think, you know, Camp Phillips should be 45 out here instead of 25, 35. Ross Avenue maybe should be 55 so we can get between Sandy Meadows and X quicker. You know, we all will have opinions on those things and it gets tough, but
Just to check, did everyone on the committee read the email from Lewis?
Yeah.
You did? I just wanted to make sure. Okay.
I did not. When did that come today?
It came,
Friday.
was it Friday or over the weekend? I
It
think
was an
over the
email?
Oh, yeah,
Because I don't
you're right.
believe
weekend. I think it was Sunday it came.
Right.
Yeah, because I think it came Sunday, but like,
It was from Lewis?
yes, from the chair of the Public Safety Committee.
Okay, I did not get that.
He wrote an email to provide additional information. And when I got after reading that email they've had a lengthy discussion about this issue. And apparently it sounded like couldn't reach an agreement with people who had differing opinions. And so that, I said to Michael, I just said, I don't even feel comfortable, like, I feel like I'm poking my nose into something that's not my business and that's already being discussed and not reached an agreement on, right? Again, I wasn't at the meeting, but that's what I got out of that email he sent.
I didn't get the email.
Can I put in my 2 cents?
Here, let me pull it up. I think we should read it right now as part of the public record then, because I don't know if you don't have, I can get it.
But there's other cross
Anyway, I think-
committee topics, right? I mean, like we, in here, that chapter 82 includes like ATV usage and bicycles and. So I mean, we approved ATV use on some roads, correct?
Yeah, so,
we voted
and
on
some
some
of
of
that
that
stuff
stuff?
existed, the Community Life and Public Safety Committee existed, and then we kind of disbanded it for several years, because there wasn't a whole lot of topics going there in
I
Public
think
Works.
if it touches roads, it
Absorbed
kind of,
that, and then we took it on, and now that public safety exists again, we started saying, hey, some of these items should be going back to public safety.
And I'll just read that email then if you'd like. Hello, everyone. I'm reaching out, and this is again from Louis Lopes, so I can never say his last name properly. Hello, everyone. I'm reaching out to you all on Public Works Committee individually regarding item 15 on your agenda tomorrow. As chair of the CLPS committee, I wanted to provide some context from my perspective on the conversation at our meeting this week, since that is not available to you in your packet. This is information only, not a public comment submission. In these bullet points, the RFP states the request came from a resident that lives in the vicinity of Weston Avenue. I asked who this resident was or where they live and was informed they did not know. The resident chose not to attend our meeting for this discussion. No other residents attended to speak in favor or against the item. Second bullet point, my understanding was residents who lived on Weston Avenue in this area had originally advocated for the lower speed limit. This is also the section of Weston Avenue without the dedicated multi-use trail, so pedestrians, bicyclists must use the roadway. Next bullet point, unlike east of Bryan Street, this section of Weston Avenue has homes which are much closer to the street. Another reason the residents did not want the multi-use trail. Next bullet point, our professional engineer advised this road was intentionally not designed for a speed of 45 miles per hour. A discussion/concern at our meeting was if we raise the speed limit above what it was designed for, we would open ourselves to liability. Next bullet point, the police chief advocated for the speed limit being 45 miles per hour because he feels residents who use the road will be upset with the lower speed limit. I find this odd to advocate for higher speed on a road not designed for it. Final bullet point, ultimately, we had a few motions in our committee which failed due to a tie. So no recommendations came from our committee. This was also based on the knowledge that regardless, the item would need to be discussed at Public Works due to the necessary ordinance change to reflect the speed limit signs already up. Metro PD cannot enforce the new speed limit until the ordinance is changed. And that ends his he signs off.
On Western Avenue, I can see past Ryan going east 45 because there's no residents in there. Going west, there's quite a few residents in there, probably lower speed limit call for.
And that's what it was, how it was designed, and that's how it's currently signed. I guess maybe I don't get the calls anymore. The police department does, but I mean, the 35-mile-an-hour signs have been up since November, and I haven't heard anyone. I drive that road almost daily, going 42 miles an hour, 43 miles an hour, not quite 10 over, but also not right at 35. And, whether it's vehicles in front of me, behind me, I mean, I don't see people really gaining or dropping off behind me either. So, I mean, personal opinion, I think it's working okay. I know Ike put something in there about how much the travel time is actually impacted. It's, like 28 seconds. In that 10-mile-an-hour difference over that stretch of roadway.
And the concern also you sign it higher, people are gonna drive. They're not gonna stick to that, they'll go higher. And it might have been glanced over. And I don't know where the motion, what's written in there right now, but it still would need a traffic analysis to be done officially. I mean, we have our documentation for what it was designed, but people are very heavy on assuming or thinking it should be a different speed, then it would have to be analyzed for that. Which there's a ton of criteria that go into that based on that one attached document. So, I mean, that could be the other direction that it goes. We don't come to a solution on the speed, but it would have to go to then have an engineered study. Speed study, so. Which I believe you can work with the DOT for that, but. Which is something Clips could probably motion.
Clips was also down a member. I mean, they have an odd number, but they had someone that was absent, so they had a 3-3 vote twice, which is why.
Yeah, and I didn't know what I only got what I got out of the email, which was, hey, this is a contentiously discussed issue and nobody agreed. And it seems like the purpose of that committee is to do exactly that. And that's why I said to Michael, I don't feel comfortable voting on any of this. Cause I don't feel like I mean, if they reach some conclusion and then it has to come here to be approved, I understand that. But like I said to you, where would you send the resident if I walk in and say, I want to address the speed limit and it's not Public Works?
Yeah, I mean, step one would be there, so.
Right, and that's why I'm not comfortable, because I don't think step one was completed. And I understand the comments about other areas in the village that should be addressed on speed limits, but then they have more stuff they should be.
Yeah, correct.
That committee should be addressing,
Yeah,
right? I guess I'm big on the function of your committee being holding to what your function is. And unless someone disagrees, that's where I am.
I guess we had that discussion about, should we be discussing like building changes, or if it's a apartment going in instead of something like, what does this fall under Public Works?
Yeah.
In the whatever, the job description of Public Works staff, was that part of that? Because then we modified to say buildings or I can't remember what we said.
significant changes to a
Significant
building.
changes to building,
Yeah.
Oh, our building.
Our buildings, municipal owned buildings, yeah.
Right, so does this technically fall under this committee?
I would think it's significant changes to the speed limits. I mean, because it's a whole ordinance change. I know we're choosing to focus on this one road at the
Right.
moment, but it's the whole ordinance too.
I guess maybe even at that, if there's nothing that we want to move forward with on that ordinance itself, is there other things on there that the committee has any feedback on, other streets, other areas? If not, I guess either just take it to the board and say committees couldn't come to an agreement. Board, what do you think? Or
Well, they're the ultimate decider.
yeah, and then if that gets kicked back to another committee, I guess we can go that route too.
Well, there is some speed limit here. I don't agree with it either, because to me, where is the farmland? You can have 45 miles an hour. No residential is all farmland. Yes, that's okay. But if there is a residential and people backing up to the road or coming out of the driveway, lower speed limit is much safer. In here, and it's at 45 miles. Right now it's 35.
Yeah.
Same thing with Ryan. Ryan is busy road, especially on weekend.
I'm with Roy. I don't really want to take any action on it.
You can send it back to the CLIP committee or
Well, send it to the board.
I think you should either go back to the public safety committee or the board or both. That would be my take on it.
Yeah, my only thought on this is, as straight as that road is, it does have a grade on it. I don't understand how that, the road is a better road than what it was. It was 45, now it's a better road and we're gonna make it 35. And if you make it 35, all the people that use that road when it was 45, they're gonna be trying to pass people that are going 35. That's my concern.
I agree with that. Sometimes I think everybody wants the speed limit in front of their house to be 25. But they have no problem going 45 in somebody else's neighborhood.
Not in my backyard.
Yeah, and I think we've gone way overboard, not only Village of Weston, but all over of lowering speed limit signs I can think of a road on the way to my cottage. It used to always be 55 and a deputy with the county wanted it lowered to 45 and they gave it to him only because of who he was. But you improve the road, why should you lower the speed limit? Just like Camp Phillips, crazy. The 4-lane is 35 miles per hour. And then when you get to the bad part, the 2-lane going up the hill, then it's 45. I know what happened because of the state project, but
So
we gotta use our heads a little bit about lowering the speed limit every time somebody screams they want it lowered in the neighborhood.
But this isn't the case of that though, Fred. This was a concerted effort that took, I don't know, it was probably 8 years of planning and design before construction finally happened. We had discussions, and maybe you weren't involved in those. Where we did ask, what is the goal of this road? What is the goal of this corridor moving forward? And we had to then set design parameters and get that information together so that we built this road, not just for today, but for, 40 years from now, so that it would serve the purpose that we wanted it to. And, there are then design parameters you give to a design engineer to do that. And just because a road is posted at 45, I mean, Weston Avenue, like I said, east of wherever it's set at 55, because this ordinance probably hasn't been changed in 20 years. So a speed limit got set and it was all farmland and people put in a house here or there and nobody cared, nobody said anything. And then when you redo a project, you then all of a sudden look at it and you go, oh, okay, well, now, over the past 40 years, there has been some development here. There is driveways that now exist that didn't exist. There is a change in traffic patterns. There's intersections that are here that weren't here before. And that does start changing the roadway without, and it happens incrementally. I know some people say, well, we'll just wait until development comes and then we'll change it. But then, what is that trigger point? Is it one business that comes? Is it 10 more houses? Is it, so I guess that's where the whole Weston Ave corridor plan, maybe letting a little frustration come out. Like there was a lot of time and effort put into understanding, okay, this is what we want this to be moving forward. And then, it happens.
I understand change, but I don't think there's been that many houses put on that road.
Yeah. No, I understand that part, but it was designed so that if somebody is driving down the road and it's icy or all of a sudden there's a tractor or a car pulls out in front of them, what is the reaction time? How much space do they have? What is the clear view? We're trying to build these roads to be safe. It's no longer 22 feet of asphalt and then you're down in the ditch and good luck because now there's mature, maple trees there that are gonna take you out.
If you're driving too fast in the 25 zone on icy roads, you got the same situation.
But
Your car is going
the crash
30 miles
won't
an
be
hour
as
less.
fatal, going 25 miles an hour. That's the whole speed limit argument, is that if there is a situation where the vehicle does leave the road, it happens. It doesn't happen to everybody, but we're trying to keep it so that even people that are driving aren't going to have a fatal situation. That's where a lot of these speed limits come from when it comes to the design standpoint.
Make a motion to send it back to the board.
I'm fine with that, yeah. If you want a motion, I'd move that we, Public Works table this discussion and either it goes back to Public Safety Committee or the board and or both.
You can have or, you can have this or that, or both of them.
Is it better both? Well, I think it really should be decided by Public Safety Committee. I'd move that it be sent back to the Public Safety Committee for resolution. I mean, they had it high, I get that, find a resolution.
I'll second that motion.
Discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I have it. Thank you. Future item 16, next meeting date, Monday, February 9th, 2026 at 4:30 PM. That's a regular meeting. Item B, Monday, March 9th, 2026 at 4:30 PM, regular meeting. Item 17, topic for future meeting, Village-wide Wisconsin Public Service Street Lighting Update. Michael, one of these days we're gonna talk about it.
I'll have it. I was going to have it for this month and then the item 15 kind of sidetracked me the last few days of last week, so.
Okay. Next meeting.
Yeah.
Item B, consolidation of Ryan Street yard material site with the village of Rothschild. We can table this forever. Water main replacement. We are waiting for that gentleman to come back, give us a report. Could you follow up with him, see where he is? I think we give him about $3,500 for that project.
We talk about MSA.
CDVG.
Oh, so yeah, the CDBG project, so surveys did go out. We got the first round in, we're on the second round of mailings.
They were due today.
And they were due today.
Okay, their work is.
So it's in process. Yes.
Okay, great. Let's have it on the next meeting then,
Yeah, we can.
see what happens.
Yep. Then, yeah.
Item D, water and sanitary sewer rate review.
Yeah, so we should be able to have a better look at that next month. We'll have the final 2025 numbers in, so. Let's kind
Okay,
of see how that came out. Sewer looks like it may be right at the break-even point, so.
great. Item 18, remark from staff.
I don't have anything.
No, I don't have anything.
The only thing I would mention, semi-related to Public Works, is if you have neighbors or friends that did not have their waste management containers picked up, they need to report them to us by January 22nd to get put on the list to do the second round through the village. So if you're aware of someone that didn't get picked up,
Does the individual have to call? I mean, I'd like to call and tell them to pick them all up on Eau Claire Avenue, but I don't know if that would do it.
the individual should call the village and we can put it into the system, or there's a link and they just put in their address to
We
the,
approve it.
into that
But
link.
the individual has to do it.
Yes, because we
My
don't.
call wouldn't do it.
If you called us, we'll put the information into the system. If you, and then Waste Management would know the address to come out and pick up the containers.
Okay.
Yep.
Valerie has something.
I was just gonna mention, one of the reasons that we want individual people to reach us, to contact us, is because we want them to know that during this period of time that they're coming back, they have to have their empty carts out at the roadside. So if they don't know that they're coming back and their carts are up by their house, Waste Management's not gonna take them.
And they need to be emptied.
Well, and I've seen neighbors had them at the curb and they don't know what to do, so they brought them back up to their garage, so.
Tell them to call us and we'll get them on the list. And
All
then
right.
we'll reach out to them when they're gonna come back around.
Very good, thank you. Michael?
I'm good.
Stacy? Okay, remark from committee member.
I'm good.
I'm good.
I'll just say real quick, I thought Isaac and Mike, I thought you guys did a great job on the speed limit and the road analysis. So hopefully it gets acted on.
All right, item 20 announcement. I don't have any announcement. I accept the motion to adjourn at 5:59.
Move to adjourn for a second. Did you?
All in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
Aye.